Game on.
Ian White, an average of 86 in his semi-final against Peter Wright. Interesting set of semi-finals, and Van Gerwen has had the extra breathing space as well. He's been waiting backstage patiently for this, and rest assured he will come out all guns blazing in this one, and he may well come out all guns blazing with a big score as well. Michael Van Gerwen against Ian White, the number 1 seed against the number 2. I'm Rob Malarkey, and alongside me for this new hostilities between these two is Paul Nicholson.
Well, I'd like to say that it's not really that hostile between the two of them, but I know that Ian White really wants to beat Michael Van Gerwen. He's sick of being beaten by him, and look at the Dutch double, like you said, and Michael Van Gerwen's looking for a 6th consecutive Dutch darts masters. Very impressive indeed, and he's back on that treble 20 train, and 60 on the floor.
Yeah, this astonishing run began with a win over Mervyn King in the final in 2014. He beat Justin Pipe 6-0 in the final in Venray a year later. And again in Venray, it was Darrell Gurney who was Van Gerwen's victim. And then Steve Beaton had a go in Maastricht in 2017. He fell by the wayside 6-1 in the final there. And last year it was Steve Lennon who provided the opposition. But once again it was MVG who came out on top by 8 legs to 5. And Van Gerwen, after that final, he was not shy in saying it was one of his worst European Tour campaigns of his career. And yet he still got the job done.
Yes, he did. And this final with purpose. Ian was looking for 6 19s there. He got 4. May not be big enough. He can't see much of it now.
16.
And Ian White's going to get a chance he didn't think he was going to get.
Well, Ian White's finishing was not really at his A-game level in his semi-final. But that'll do for starters. It's a holder throw for Ian White. He leads by 1 leg to 0. He was 7 from 24 in that win over Peter Wright.
Small chink in the armour of the somewhat impervious machine that is MVG in this tournament. Now, do we start comparing MVG to other sports stars around the world who have amazing records in certain events? With you, Mr. Malarkey will obviously revert to Mr. Nadal at Roland Garros. You could talk about Tiger Woods in the Memorial Tournament or the Arnold Palmer Invitation. He's won that ridiculous amounts of times, 8, 9 times. Van Gerwen in this tournament is like Kevlar.
180.
Well, there is some support for Ian White.
59.
Well, those missed starts at double have just exposed Van Gerwen a little bit. He has come out the traps really well, scored the first leg. Then he misses at 16s. And then all of a sudden he's just gone off track.
60.
Not sure what the words are about. I'll have to ask the calculator later. I'm not sure about my lip reading skills, but I got nothing from that. How about you?
34.
Not at all. It did stem from Van Gerwen's previous visit, because words were exchanged briefly after Van Gerwen's previous visit, but I think everything seems to be ironed out. Van Gerwen does seem to be glancing over at the scoreboard as if he's got a bit of an issue with something maybe that the marker did. Now let's take a look at that. Well, it wasn't on the camera for long enough to analyse the numbers.
Was he looking at the right-hand side or the left-hand side?
39.
The right-hand side.
So he was looking at Ian White's board. That's interesting. The 139 from the number 2 seed is not going to go. Van Gerwen to the double first. Cannot afford misses this time. He had a chance to break in the first leg. And he hasn't held yet. And Ian White gets another chance. Is this going to be the story of this final?
Well, there were patches in that semi-final for Van Gerwen where
Yeah,
his
short
finishing
second
was a
leg,
little bit
in
shaky.
wide.
And so far, the board.
I think they're having a discussion as to how soft it is. Now, if the board is to be changed, both players have to agree.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
And it has to be at the discretion of the referee as well.
And they're going to change it. And so we will have another interruption. Now, Ian White has had his fair share of interruptions today because the Gerwen earlier today was delayed because of a spillage of water on the table. And now we've got a slight hold up in play here as well because we have to change the board. The tournament director is on the stage to oversee this as well.
Yeah, Scott Gibling has not done a great deal of tournament directorship in the European Tour before. He's had a bit of a weekend thing to handle, and he's on stage just making sure that everything's done properly. This is the second time that Jurgen's had to do this evening. We had a board change between Peter Wright and Mervyn King. Ian White getting involved with the crowd.
Just a good opportunity for Ian White to maybe win friends and influence people as well. It's good use of his time.
He's just having none of it.
No, he just wants to get on with this. He's 2-0 down. He's got more serious matters to deal with as well. So not the start perhaps he or indeed many others were expecting.
But imagine if we had this in snooker. We had to change the table.
Relay the table.
That would take a while. Well, this is an important moment for both players. They've got to keep their focus. I'm not really sure why they're using that spirit level, because every time they use it, they've still got to adjust it anyway.
Well, the running pairs have been carried out, and I think we are ready to resume. And it's Ian White who will be throwing first in this third leg. He has the break. Leads by 2 legs to 0, and you just wonder whether that disruption will have had an impact on the two players. I think they are entitled to some more practice throws here as well, so don't worry, Ian White was not going for a double 16 on his.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, they were
Third
given
leg,
3
Ian to
practice
throw
starts there
first.
because there was
Game
quite a
on.
long delay there. So, as you were, Ian White has stolen the first 2 legs because of misses from MVG. Welcome back to the game, Ian White. And welcome back to the match, Kirk Peffens.
New board. Strong start for Ian White.
96.
He's up against it, MVG. Doesn't matter who you play, who has a tour card, even people who don't want to give them a 2-leg head start, even if your name is MVG.
140.
Well, Ian White's raced into a 4-0 lead against Peter Wright in his semi-final. And from that moment on, there was never really too much looking back, although Peter Wright did force the hand of Ian White. A 4-0 lead here wouldn't be any guarantee, but it would leave him in a great position. But of course, then the
45.
expectation levels would lead to the intensifying of the pressure.
Well, MVG has not been beaten in a final on the European Tour this year. Every single time he's made it to the final, he has won.
136.
He has been beaten in finals previously in other seasons to the likes of Michael Smith and Peter Wright and Phil Taylor. Ian White is in a very good
100.
position here with MVG. He's left a double after 12. An excellent return considering the delay in the game after leg 2.
36.
Well, the crowd have yet to rediscover their voice after that interruption. Ian White, though, looking at double 9 just outside the wire. Very close. That's why he took a second glance.
18.
This time, it's Ian White that misses, but MVG's higher on the number count. He needs to find something brilliant. He's not just sitting on a double, but he has the bullseye.
105. In Uruguay, 18.
Too many missed darts at doubles in this match from Michael, and he's got to score better and give himself some more chances. Double four.
Game shot on the third leg.
Split it very well. Very effective play by Ian White, who finds himself 3 legs to the good. But Michael van Gerwen is yet to get going in this
100.
first to 8 final.
You did mention earlier on, Rob, that Ian was getting closer to Michael van Gerwen in the previous 2 finals. The first one,
60.
it was a real thumping. But the second time round, Michael van Gerwen had one of those many last leg decider wins, but maybe that's what he needs, a few of those just to get him going. He needs to get that adrenaline pumping.
He did miss 11 darts at a double in that semi-final against Gerwen Price. And those concerns are still evident, but this is maybe the opportunity for van Gerwen to get his first leg on the scoreboard.
96.
At points where he has not been on full tilt with the treble 20, Michael van Gerwen has had a major friend in treble 19. In the last couple of finals against Ian White, that treble 19 shooting was just
140.
outstanding.
Michael 125.
Now, Bull. Well, there's 50 and 60 Bull, still possible. He's not going to go for it. He's not going to go for it. Single 18. Right
83.
thing to do. This crowd is almost in a state of shock. And this is actually really good for Ian White because he's keeping the crowd quiet. He's had some
139.
heckling this weekend because he played a lot of Dutch players.
Well, this is a real concern for Michael van Gerwen. 3 missed darts at dub 16 by the world number 1 and the world champion and the Premier League champion. This is very uncharacteristic. He has yet to hit a double in this final at 11 attempts.
Tops for White for 4. Bent the wire. Michael gets a reprieve. How much energy has he got in the tank after such a busy week? And there we go. He's entitled to, because that was a brilliant dart. That was right in the middle of double 8.
Well, a missed dart at tops for a 4-0 lead, and you just wonder whether Michael van Gerwen would have recovered from that. But finally he has a leg on the board. Finally he's hit a double.
40.
And he's now 1 from 13.
They always say that when you hit your first double in a match, it settles you down. Will that be the case for Michael? Probably. There's Team Van Gerwen on the left.
Yeah, a bit of a reassurance there for Daphne.
Daphne Van Gerwen. Vincent van der Voort's boy, who somewhat comically in the practice room in the break walked into a closed door, which everybody was laughing their head off at.
177.
And there's Matilda Noble there as well, daughter of George, the referee. Very good friends with the Van Gerwen family.
54.
Great first start. He's going to switch. Quite surprised, he's usually very stubborn. There's Daphne there.
Yeah, I mean, that first start, it was a big surprise that he didn't follow it up with at least one more.
59.
Just not happening for van Gerwen in the main. You do feel if he can just get himself out of this slump. It's a good time to have a slump, I suppose, at the start of the match, when you've got time to recover and regroup.
It's a horrible time to just feel like this, though. You want to feel a little bit sluggish once you've got the trophy in your hands.
Well, Ian White
140.
will be very fearful of the prospect of Michael van Gerwen just finding something extra and getting himself back involved in this final. And Ian White needs to get himself everything possible here. And he has done. He's given himself that 3-leg cushion once again, and he's not too happy with 1 or 2 elements of the crowd as well, but 4-1. He's halfway there.
Ian White would much rather they be cheering and
100.
screaming than giving them this and then one or two other people whistling.
He would prefer it if the isolated whistles were to be drowned out by the rest of the crowd, but the rest of the crowd haven't really got anything to work with from Van Gerwen so far at all. This bilateral arrangement between Van Gerwen and the crowd, or any Dutch player in the crowd here.
What he needs is a shot that just gets him going. That's 60 on the floor. That's twice in this match we've seen 60 on the floor. He needs, like that 1-4-3 against Gerwen Price, which was a real catalyst shot. Seeing Van Gerwen and White under par
85.
in this game. They are better than 94 averages. But it's not about averages in this game. It's about how much power you've got left in your arm.
134.
Well, this run to the final for Ian White was in danger of never getting started. He beat Mickey Mansell 6-5 in missed 4 match darts before he hit the double 4 to secure his progress to the final day. Mansell himself missed 5 match darts. Yeah, treble 18 would have left double,
87.
but no damage done so far for MVG in this one, with White on 2-1-9.
I almost forgot that Mansell had 5 match starts to take Ian White out.
Well, that was another one of those days where Ian White, the doubles just didn't happen for him. 6 out of 20. Much improved against Watimena, 6 from 9. Tops for MVG. Double 10 for MVG. Yeah, that's more like it.
So that gets Ian to throw first. Game on.
He's trying to stay composed, Michael, but he's having a word with himself back of the stage, just trying to rev himself up little by little. I think he understands the concept of not
96.
losing control, but at the same time trying to make himself feel a bit more urgent. That's better. And that will wake Ian White up as well.
Yeah, that might just light the fire.
Could well be the middle part of the game where both of them start to think, come on then.
Used those first 2 darts very effectively there, Ian White. That was a brilliant reply and a brilliant
58.
immediate response by the number 2 seed and the champion in Sindelfingen a fortnight ago.
You mentioned earlier on in the tournament, Rob, that if Roby John Rodriguez was to have won that, you would have got a cow.
Yeah.
Well, what about Ian White? If he wins this, does he get a
Well, he won't
giant
get a
mountain of gold cakes or something?
He won't get a cow, I'll tell you that.
96. In you by 100.
Yeah, big from Stoke. The association with the oatcake.
Well,
Oatcakes for life.
he might have to take this. He's not going to, and this is the perfect opportunity
140.
to light up this arena. This would get him going. It's possible. Bullseye! Oh, yeah! Everybody's walking up now, baby!
It's a break back, and Van Gerwen is back on track at 4-3. Has Ian White missed his opportunity? Because all of a sudden, Michael Van Gerwen is a very different animal indeed. The crowd find their voice. Michael Van Gerwen rediscovers his mojo. But Ian White rediscovers his touch.
Yeah, we've hit the magical 200. That's the sign of a high quality weekend. It won't be the last one either. It's back on throw this match. What a fabulous final. And that last visit from Ian White, there was some real skill behind that 3rd dart. It was almost an angry shot of the 60.
66.
Well, Pajama Crew, they really approve.
Yeah, not quite time for 10 past 11 in Zwolle.
Fabulous 140 from Van Gerwen. Used angle and wanted to stay upstairs because he had a 4 on the end of his number. Ian White is probably
Likely go
going to be in a level game in a minute. Maybe after these three. He's challenging Ian White now
155.
to take the now didn't go for 14 in bull there, Van Gerwen. He's laid down the gauntlet. It should be 4-4, but there have been a lot of misses in this corner in this match.
That's a lovely piece of approach. Counts for nothing. Michael Van Gerwen. Well, he was 4-1 down. He's back level at 4-all. And as the Pyjama Crew celebrate, Michael Van Gerwen in danger of putting this final to bed once and for all now, moving in the right direction. And everything has just changed. The whole dynamic in the blink of an eye.
It's a bit like a Take That song this tournament. Everything changes but you. And I'm talking to Van Gerwen.
100.
We may have had some scratchy darts in this final, but when you look at the leg breakdown there, it's still not bad. 7's in there and a 16. Obviously, the 17s and 16s are more than 5 visits, but the rest of it's been phenomenal. Van Gerwen's starting to find that first dart. He's nestling well.
139.
And I did say at the time as well, that missed start at tops for a 4-0 lead may well prove the turning point in this one. But Ian White's still very much involved at 4-all, but there are just signs that he is beginning to lose his way in this final.
40.
Well, the crowd have been walking up with that magical 170, and all of a sudden they're getting on the back of Ian White again.
93.
Van Gerwen's actually averaging over 100 now as well, which is astonishing given the slump that he had at the start of this match, and given the fact it really took him 3 legs to get going. 4 legs, arguably, to get going.
Great players can average 100 and look very pedestrian.
He was, what, 0 from 11 on his doubles. That was dragging his average down as well, supposedly, but here we are.
59.
Well,
153.
what has Ian White got here? Van Gerwen couldn't put a massive hole in his previous number. This 153's under threat. Oh, he's just gone 4. 72. He's left 60, but here's another opportunity for the world number 1. Now, this one's for the lead, but he's missed the 20.
50. And you're going 60.
Well, Michael Van Gerwen is still prone to errors. And that was a very big one as well, because it's allowed Ian White the chance here to return, looking now at tops for a 5-4 lead. And Ian White really needed that leg, but he was given a helping hand by Michael Van Gerwen. But it is 5-4 to the number 2 seed.
Yeah, 9 legs in, and Van Gerwen has never led in this match.
And if he'd said to Ian White before the final started that this would be the situation after 9 legs, I think he'd be more than happy with that.
Too right. But after 4 legs, he would have said no. It's amazing how things change.
58.
You know, they talk about how, you know, in poker games you've got to handle the swings, you know, the ups and the downs, and you look at your chip stack and you think, I've got a lot of money there, and then you lose a big hand and you've got to handle the ups and downs. Well, a game of darts like this is very much like a poker game sometimes. You've got to handle the swings.
Gerwen Price came very close to eliminating Michael Van Gerwen. So did Raymond van Barneveld at 5-all. He kicked off with a 1-8, but couldn't get the job done.
133.
He got himself back into contention in their quarter-final before losing 6-4. Van Gerwen's had some big, well, he's had the biggest of the lot in this one, but he had a 1-6-4 checkout against as well earlier today. A 1-4-8 yesterday against Willie O'Connor, and also that brilliant 1-4-3 against Gerwen Price in the semi-final.
Which one was the best one?
Gerwen Price.
104.
Sort of the lot that I've just mentioned, but
Would you like to just take a bit more time to think about that? I like that 170 because of the timing of it. It's given him the opportunity, but that 143 wasn't quite spectacular.
it was the timing of it as well, and given the context of the situation when Gerwen Price was in a really good position. Van Gerwen now looking at double 16.
32.
And once again,
And you're going 164.
well, earlier in this match, he Missed 3 clear darts at double 16. He's not found it there.
Can Ian White find a massive finish of his own? Oh, hang about. Can't say it was a bad dart because it was really well thrown.
92.
And Van Gerwen cannot miss this to equalise once more.
Are there doubts about Michael Van Gerwen's finishing once again? There may well be. Double 4. Oh, he's a long way inside. Shaking the hands.
72.
And this is almost, well, you have to say, uncharacteristic of Michael Van Gerwen. I can't recall going over the course of 2 matches back-to-back, missing so many darts at double.
20 for tops. And that's only just hit the 20, and luckily for him, that's given him loads of room over the top of the flight. He could easily have bust that 72, Ian White, but now he's 2 legs away from winning this thing and taking away Michael Van Gerwen's cherished Dutch Darts Masters record.
Well, it worked out in the end for him because, as you say, he was perilously close to busting his score, but as you say, did give him a lot of room to work with, and it's a break of throw, and Ian White, having been pegged back, is now 2 legs away from a title. Another title, a back-to-back title on the European Tour.
Michael has said that he's not going to be in Denmark for the Danish Open, so this is the last time we're going to see him on the European Tour until Prague in about a month's time.
180.
Yeah, 5 weeks away, Prague. 3 weeks' time we'll be in Denmark for the Danish Darts Open in Copenhagen.
That's where Mensur Suljovic defends.
Which Mensur Suljovic will be defending. Then we're off of June, 5 weeks' time. So Michael Van Gerwen looking to make the most of here and now.
Well, Ian was looking to do something that not a great deal of people have done, and that's win 3 European Tour titles. Van Gerwen has, of course, done that. Peter Wright, Phil Taylor and Michael Smith. That's it. Van Gerwen in a position to get this 11th leg. He's going to be under a decent amount of pressure after that bullseye. 19's needed. Needs 3 more. Ian White is looking at 85 for a 3-leg gap and to be 1 away from doing the Dutch double.
Dutch Darts Championship last year. Will he be the Dutch Darts Master? This would be a huge step in the right direction for him. Looking now at tops for a 7-4 lead.
75.
Just a little bit edgy. Crowd playing their part maybe again. Van Gerwen returns looking at 68. No guarantees here, though, with Michael Van Gerwen, the way he's been playing of late. Michael Van Gerwen looking at tops. And just when he needs to dig himself out of a hole, Michael Van Gerwen does precisely that.
Boy, was that sensible. His double 16 has been a thorn in his side in this final.
96.
He had the option of 16 and double 16 or 8 and tops. He chose the latter, and it was the right choice. Ian White has missed that opportunity. His doubles percentage is so superior.
Well, Michael Van Gerwen, over the course of this final so far and the semi-final, has missed 29. That is unheard of.
Say it, Rob, I think the MVG fuel tank is pretty low. After the week he's had with the Premier League and all of the press, the travelling, and everything that's gone before in the last few weeks, I think he is running on vapour.
Yep, there's certainly an argument to suggest that he is
35.
just beginning, or is all beginning to catch up with Michael Van Gerwen.
Needs a treble, gets one.
98.
It's MVG in this one.
And of course, if it does go to a deciding leg, if it goes to 7-all, then you just know what's going to happen, don't you? Or will it? It's a big trend to book for Ian White if we do go that far.
I said everything was on the line against Price when the streak was on. Bullseye? No.
No.
Michael, what are you doing? You're leaving double 16. Should have gone for it. Yeah, he said in the last leg of the Gerwen Price game that his streak here was under threat. His streak in last leg deciders was under threat.
And his run against Gerwen Price was under threat as well.
97.
but it was victory number 16 against the Welshman.
For 6-6 then. He's found double 16. Eventually, he knows where it is. But Ian White, I'm looking as a guy who has a glass that's half full. Still got the darts, Ian.
Still in his hands, still the master of his own destiny. And if he kicks off with a ton 80 here,
140.
well, a ton 40 still sends out a bit of a message anyway.
Well, Michael van Gerwen would have graced this building,
57.
by my estimation, somewhere around 10 AM this morning. And yes, there was a big gap between the last 16 and the quarter-final, but the mind whirs all day. So he's been thinking about darts for part of 13 hours. Now, there are some fools out there who think darts is not a sport. Well, try doing this for 13 hours. See how you feel the next day. These guys tomorrow, regardless of this result, are going to be hurting, and they are going to be really tired.
Mentally, it's very, very demanding. Physically, it's very, very demanding.
Wow, from Ian White. That's all that requires. That's incredible. And Van Gerwen cannot leave a finish from 348. 6 starts from here, and he's going to be one away. He's always had control in this final.
Ian White, 126, stays upstairs. Treble 20, leaves 66. Well, that's okay. 9 for double 16.
60 more on the floor.
On the floor, and Michael van Gerwen just looking a little bit disconsolate now.
That one left a puncture mark.
Yeah, just clattered into the light at the left-hand side of the stage, so that's why Michael van Gerwen went back that way.
Well, he has left a finish.
Crowd trying to have their say once again. Ian White moving all across the hockey, right over to the left flank.
Top. Now, surely not.
In like 7 to reduce the arrears to 4-3. If he does it here, he takes a 7-6 lead. Wow.
I think if he'd hit that, it may have just blown up.
Double 8 for Ian White, double 4 now for Ian White. The crowd still playing their part. Double 2 for Ian White. It's a job done. He's one leg away from the Dutch Darts Masters title. This would be a rare defeat in this tournament for Michael van Gerwen.
I am growing in respect for Ian White right now. He is being leathered with abuse from this crowd in Zwolle. Whistles, jeers, everything. He's getting the lot. And that double 2 was just brilliant. Because Van Gerwen was lurking.
Well, Michael van Gerwen's third dart average is significantly lower than that of his first dart and second dart. The bounce outs haven't helped. And there we see the third dart was just a single 20. But in good shape in this leg. Van Gerwen will be aware of his deciding leg victories on the European Tour. 9 scored for Ian White, a huge helping hand here for Michael van Gerwen, who for good measure
97.
Rob,
will get himself down to 164.
MVG has never led in this final.
He was level only briefly at 4-all and 6-all. He missed the ball.
164.
140 would do.
A little bit in hand here.
96.
Enough. He switched to the 16 there because I think those 2 bounce outs in this match, he's not entirely confident that one of that 60, that the dart was going to stay in the ball.
Yeah, he's got no faith in that at all. And that's why he did make the switch.
100. Michael 60.
Question is whether it will pay dividends. Double 4. Double 2 for 7-all.
66.
And he's not there yet. He's in the madhouse now. This could open things up for Ian White. He's on 201, but he may well get an opportunity. if Van Gerwen either comes inside or misses on the outside. Pressure can be applied here.
Bullseye, here's the shot.
92.
Well, it'll have to do. This is no gimme. There are no gimmies in darts. Well, maybe there is. But now, we are talking all about one leg of darts for the Dutch Darts Masters title. The streak is on the line.
Well, there are two streaks on the line. There's the deciding leg issue, and there's also this small matter of 5 successive titles at the Dutch Darts Masters in a sequence stretching back to 2014.
Anybody got any dart déjà vu? Let's cast our mind back a couple of events. This is where we were. It was 7-7. And Van Gerwen got that title.
Yeah, 8-7 when they met in Graz in the final at the start of May. And here we are once again. 144 Van Gerwen to get down to 361. Ian White is once again having to deal with this crowd.
This is where the crowd just need to sit down and watch.
And then again.
87.
That's a good 87 after those first 2 darts. Advantage, MVG.
71 the deficit. Ian White.
Please don't whistle while the players are throwing. Thank you.
Yeah, well said, Kirk. Well, they just don't seem to listen. It's fallen on deaf ears.
I think they need to get Jag up there and say it in Dutch.
59.
Van Gerwen, another helping hand.
He's got the throw. And he's got
84.
enough, is it?
I'm not sure. He has just about got the darts here, but now to finish that last dart. Just maybe some encouragement to Ian White.
Watch out. That's a great dart. He wants the 140 badly. He gets it.
140.
Well, flip of a coin job here, you feel. Van Gerwen could do with at least one treble.
64.
Doesn't get one, but sensibly, he's put himself under 130. He's put himself on a shot where he has an out.
Yep, using the 19s. 146 for White. 66 away. How is he going to tee this one up?
Well, it's all in the hands of the champ.
Well, he went for treble 10 to leave double 18. As it is, 2 darts away. MVG looking at 126. He needs the treble 19, and he's not got the treble 19.
58.
So, the streak is on the line here in the Dutch Darts Masters. The streak of last leg deciders is on the line. He's shaking his head, Ian White. But the 3 of this story, single 16 for the title. The 3rd European Tour title of his career, and the 2nd in a row. Ian White needs tops.
And get ready for the reaction if he does find this double 10. He would. And there we go. Ian White gives it right back to the crowd. And Ian White is a back-to-back winner on the European Tour. Title number 3 for the number 2 seed. And Michael Van Gerwen's run at the Dutch Darts Masters comes to an end. The 5-time champion beaten in the final by Ian White. Huge, huge achievement by the Diamond. And that is a very brave and a very bold and a very committed and a very courageous performance indeed. Ian White, a European Tour champion for a 3rd time. He was the champion in Maastricht at the end of last year, and he's done it in Holland once again.